In today's video, we're actually going to be exploring the famous Extraterrestrial Highway in Nevada. And for those of you who aren't aware, the Extraterrestrial Highway is known famously for being the highway right outside of Area 51. So in the rest of today's video, we're actually going to be going to the gates of Area 51, checking out the little town of Rachel, Nevada, and if we're lucky, maybe we'll get a little alien encounter. So let's go. Our journey begins an hour and a half north of Las Vegas on US Route 375, more famously known as the Extraterrestrial Highway. It starts in the little town of Crystal Springs, Nevada, and winds 98 miles through the unforgiving deserts all the way to Warm Springs, Nevada. Now I'm going to level with you, it is mostly a boring drive. If I had the choice between watching paint dry and driving this highway, truth be told, I'd rather just stay at home and drink alone in the dark, but here we are. Once you make the turnoff for the Extraterrestrial Highway, you really don't have to go too far before you start seeing alien-oriented stuff out here. We're right outside the Alien Research Center, which is a gift shop, and I was going to go in, but it does look like they're closed today, so I don't think we'll be able to go in there. And in about a half hour, we will be at the front gate of Area 51. Looks like the wind got to the sign. Area 51. Use of deadly force authorized. Yeah, well, we won't push our luck today. Check out that alien right there. That is the biggest alien I have ever seen in my entire life. And I've seen a lot of aliens. Right now we're in the back of the Area 51 Research Center, and right behind me is a replica of the Area 51 front gate. And to my knowledge, they put this out here so that way, I guess it kind of helps cut down on people actually going out to Area 51 and being stupid, and also it's a way to get a great photo without having to drive all the way out there, because it is a little bit of a drive. Here's a little remnant of the past. I stormed Area 51. Well, I didn't necessarily storm Area 51, but I was out here during the famous Storm Area 51 event. September 20th, 2019. That was a hell of a day. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with the Area 51 region in Nevada, there's not a whole lot out here. I mean, right here, of course, you have the gift shop, and then you have another gift shop up there, and you have some ranches here and whatnot, some cattle. But once we get further up the road, there is virtually nothing up there until you get to the little town of Rachel, Nevada. And even in the little town of Rachel, too, there's not a whole lot. All right, now let's make our way out to the gates of Area 51. It's a 14-mile drive from the Alien Research Center to the road that leads you to the front gate of Area 51. Now, as tempting as it may seem to speed like O.J. Simpson trying to avoid law enforcement, I would advise against it. Cows roam freely out here, and I guess it can be very dangerous at night, as the black cows like to congregate on the road due to the warmth that it gives off. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are now on the road to the front gate of Area 51. This one's mostly known for having the camo dudes propped up on top of the hill, so that way they can see traffic coming out to the gate there. I don't know what kind of activity we're going to be able to see today, but you can always usually see camo dudes out there. So that's the road that we came down, and if you look right here, this is the turnoff, and there is no road sign at all. Just a stop sign and no road sign indicating what or where this goes to. But make no mistake, there are plenty of no trespassing signs up at the gates. I have no idea what that was all about. I can only assume that that person probably lives out at that ranch, and they probably hate it when tourists come out here, because I've been told by a few people out in the area that sometimes if tourists make their way onto private property, and I'm not talking about Area 51, but sometimes when tourists come out here, they'll drive down these roads and they will claim, oh, we didn't see the no trespassing sign, but there's a lot of people out here that I guess will call the cops if you trespass on their land. And if I lived here, I probably wouldn't appreciate that either. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so this is where things start to get a little real. This is the last warning sign before you actually get to the front gate. Now you can pass right here. This is just a warning sign that basically says, if you're gonna be a dumbass, you're gonna suffer the consequences. I always get a kick out of this sign. So in the event that you do decide to try some brave alien stuff and cross the line at Area 51, you will be required to pay a $1,000 fine. You will have your car towed at your expense. You will have your car impounded at your expense. You will be brought to Hico, Nevada to be processed. Once released, you will be responsible for transportation to your next desired location. I don't know about you guys, but I don't feel like trying anything brave today. I don't want to get arrested. I don't want to have my car impounded because out here, taxis, Ubers, and Lyfts, they don't exist. So trying to find a ride to the impound lot from the jail, probably not going to happen. But if we look up here on the hill, you can actually see the camo dudes. And they are right there. They probably already know who I am, what I'm doing. I once had someone tell me that they monitor everybody's license plate that comes out here. So they probably know I'm not a threat and I'm not going to do anything stupid. But they must remain alert, because it doesn't mean other people might not try anything stupid. Can't decide if it was a good day to come out here or a bad day. I think it's like 95 degrees. Anyway, we're going to continue up the road here and we're going to see what things look like at the gate. Hopefully we don't get shot. That's the gate right up there. I'll get my bigger lens out in just a second, but the camo dudes are still up there. There you have it, everybody. The front gate of Area 51. I've always wondered if they can hear us, what we're talking about. I mean, they sit up there all day long in their truck, just probably doing a whole lot of nothing. And photography, I've had a lot of people ask me, it says no photography. How can you be out here and still take video and photo? Well, that just means from public land, you can take photo and video from out here as much as you want. You just can't go past the line and take photo and video. So the camo dudes are still camped out over there, hanging out, having a latte, probably enjoying the show that I'm putting on. You can see the road. And from what I found on Google Maps, it's about another 17 to 20 miles to the actual base. So when I came out here for the Storm Area 51 event, I pretty much knew no one was going to attempt it because, yeah, there's the gate right there, but you still have 17 to 20 miles of hot desert to make it through before you even get to the base. So the chances of, well, storming the gate were pretty good, but actually getting into the base, I knew it wasn't going to happen. Now, I've been a huge Area 51 nut for quite some time, and a lot of movies and documentaries that I've seen talk about how all throughout the desert out here, there's all these sensors with antennas on them. So you could be walking out in the desert on public land, mind you, and if you trip a sensor, like, it doesn't mean that SWAT's going to come down and, have you get on the ground, but it kind of just lets them know in the base that, hey, there's something out here. Maybe it's worth checking out.
For those of you that might not be familiar with Area 51 and are curious as to why someone would drive out to the middle of nowhere to snap some video of a gate and a Ford Raptor while wearing goofy sunglasses, well, let me get you caught up to speed. Area 51 is a U.S. Air Force military installation located 2 hours north of Las Vegas. It became a pretty popular topic in the late 80s, early 90s when a fellow by the name of Bob Lazar claimed he was hired by the U.S. government to reverse engineer alien spacecraft. However, over the years, the authenticity of his claims have been heavily criticized, with Mr. Lazar providing very weak evidence that suggests what he did, let alone even work out at the base. It is worth noting that the CIA never officially acknowledged the existence of Area 51 until 2013 due to a Freedom of Information Act that was filed by George Washington University scholars in Washington, D.C. However, this Freedom of Information Act was originally filed back in 2005. And from what I could find, Area 51 dates back to 1955 and was built for the CIA to test spy planes. Over the years, people have become obsessed with the secrecy/not-so-secrecy of the base and believe there is something else going on out there, other than testing military equipment. The entrance to Area 51 draws in thousands of tourists every year. It's even been the inspiration for many movies, and its popularity further skyrocketed in 2019 when an internet meme surfaced calling for thousands to storm the gates of Area 51. Now, I can speak from experience that nobody stormed the gates. I was there for a few days and documented what happened. Nothing too crazy went on other than a couple drunken disorderlies and a few people that may have ingested a few too many drugs and thought that they could fly. Other than that, it was pretty mellow. At least up until this kid thought he was going to pull a fast one on the crowd.
There we go. Five, four, three, two, one. Oh, you can't!
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Well, it appears that the camo dudes weren't feeling so festive out here today. Usually when I come out here, they'll honk or they'll peel out or you'll see a little bit of movement, but not today. But now we're going to make our way into the little town of Rachel, Nevada, which is also right by Area 51, and we're going to go to the back gate over there. Usually when I'm out there, I can pretty much almost guarantee that we'll get a little bit of camo dude activity, so let's go.
As fun and adventurous as it may seem to drive out to Area 51, it's also important to remember that services out here are extremely limited. Once you turn onto Extraterrestrial Highway, the closest gas station and store for food and beverages is in Rachel, Nevada, and once you pass the town of Rachel, the next town, which is Tonopah, is 109 miles away. This is exactly why I keep additional supplies in my car, such as a gallon of water, extra food, multiple forms of protection, and a portable cell phone charger. I've been lucky enough, though, on all my trips out here to not break down or pop a tire, but it's always best to be prepared. The last thing you want is to be out in the deep desert and have car trouble, not knowing who's out there.
Well, I tell you what, it is a steamer out here today. We finally made it to the little alien town of Rachel, Nevada. And I think the game plan for now is we're going to head into Rachel, and then we're going to make our way to the back gate of Area 51. There's more buildings out there and more camo dude presence, so hopefully we can get a reaction out there. There's an abandoned mine over here, and then there's also some abandoned houses. I'm not going to give the location of those out because they're in pretty good condition yet. I don't want to overrun it with people. But the rumor is they are the houses of camo dudes that worked at Area 51. Guess we'll have to find out.
There isn't much in the little town of Rachel. The little Alien Bar and Grill and another gas station down the road seem to be the only services available. They don't even have a post office. And in the future, when it's not so freaking hot outside, I do plan on staying an entire weekend out here and doing a more in-depth dive on the town of Rachel. After making a pit stop and loading up on caffeine, I decided to take a quick stroll around the town and get a feel for the place. And I'm not hating on the town by any means, but it had a very sad vibe to it. Most of the buildings seemed to be abandoned, and I didn't see anybody outside. But then again, I didn't really expect to.
Now the turnoff for the back gate road is another unmarked road, and if you didn't Google it or buy a map at the gift shop, you wouldn't know it. But this is the turnoff for the back gate road right here. And again, if you take a look, there is no actual road sign that indicates any sort of name to this road. But the unofficial name is called the Back Gate Road.
A few moments later.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are officially at the back gate of Area 51. You can see all the fencing, the buildings. cameras. We're gonna flip a U-E up here and then turn around and then walk up to the gate. So just behind me is the back gate right there. And before we get up and close, I'm calling it right now. The majority of the time I've been out here, once I get close enough to the gate, one thing the camo dudes like to do is blare this loud horn. I'm sure they're probably keeping a close eye on us today. Now, if anyone comes out here after me, if you hear that horn, you've probably done nothing wrong. To my knowledge, they just blare that horn just to mess around with people. I mean, what else are they really doing in there all day besides watching reruns of Matlock and drinking coffee and eating donuts? My heart is racing. Even though I know it's probably going to happen, it still gives me the willies. Like right there. Let's get a little closer here. I'm sure it's probably filled with a bunch of TV screens in there. A bunch of AR-15s. The interesting part about this gate is, before the storm Area 51 event happened, you could go all the way up there. They put this part in here, I think shortly after the storm Area 51 event.
Once you make it past the little town of Rachel, Nevada, it is nothing but endless desert as far as the eye can see, with no signs of life. And when it comes to Area 51, I don't know that I necessarily believe that the military could be reverse engineering alien spacecraft from crashed UFOs. But if they are, what better place to do it than out in the middle of no man's land? Services out here are scarce, the nearby towns are pretty small, and there is no large attractions or businesses being built out here, keeping this part of the desert as quiet as a church mouse. And if you think you'll be getting a close-up view of Area 51 sometime soon, well, think again. Between the gates, security, and the surrounding mountains blocking any public view, whatever truly goes on out here still remains a mystery. And if you just so happen to break into the base and capture something on camera and share it with the public, you just may wind up getting a knock on the door from these guys.
All right, everybody, I think this is where we are going to end the video. There's just nothing left to see out here. We're probably about maybe 40 miles from the abandoned hot springs. But even that, once we get there, like, is it really that fascinating? We are so far out in the middle of nowhere. Like, I'll show you guys. Take a look. So this is the direction that we came from Rachel, Nevada. And if we pan out here, it's just endless desert as far as the eye can see. It looks like there probably is some cell towers up there on the top of that mountain. But then again, on the other side of that mountain is Area 51. And then if we pan the camera over this way, it's just a lonely road that goes on forever and ever. Now, I've been out to some pretty desolate places before, but this one, I think I've probably been out here for 25 minutes. I haven't even seen one car. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think, and tune in next week. We'll catch you later.